Good evening and welcome to Astro Mingle with your host, Sensei Christopher.
Hello and welcome to Astro Mingle, the spiritual podcast that mingles with the talented lightworkers and the innovative influencers of our time. We're so excited to have Jai Gobind back on with us today. Not only is she an expert in astrology, human design, and numerology, but she's also the creator of the Moon Goddess training program, where she guides people in exploring the Akashic records and combining different spiritual practices for real transformation. Today, we'll be focusing on her work as a Gene Keys guide and diving deeper into how this profound approach can help unlock your greatest potential. Please help me welcome one of my favorite people in the world, Step 13 Gemini, Jai Gobind.
Thank you so much for having me. I am so excited to be here.
Are you? That's great. I missed you.
I missed you too. I was gonna say first things first. How are you doing?
Oh, it's been lousy. Oh, sorry. It's been lousy. No, but no, it's a lot of learning. A lot of learning. I mean, a lot of forced karma, last minute Scorpio, like in a press. I think Scorpio just ended like 20 minutes ago. Thank God.
Yeah, right. It's been intense. No, it's been intense.
It's the hardest one I've had in a long time. But overall, I think huge growth. I'm counting on counting everything I predict to be correct. Otherwise we're doomed. No, it's been intense, I have to say, and in some ways weird. The Earth hasn't seemed very familiar the last three or 4 weeks to me. Have you felt that?
I agree with you. It's been very, very different. So, I went out of the country. I went to Argentina, then I went to Peru. They were both amazing trips. In Argentina, I got to hang out with my dad. It was like a home. Everything felt like home. And then Peru was the most nurturing and grounding experience that I've had. But there is definitely a different energy in the air, and I don't know how to put my finger on it, but something definitely feels different. So I'm with you on that one.
Did you feel it weird in those places, or did you feel it weird when you came back to the United States? Those places were yeah. I felt a depth.
And, so to me, like the Scorpio brings you deep into like the experience. And I think because the energy was like the same, but I think that because I was in these very powerful, like ancient sites and sacred places, that it was actually helping me a lot to ground myself. Because I think that if I had been here, I wouldn't have felt the same. It's always kind of, I've been traveling so much this year. It's so out of my comfort zone that but I'm actually getting used to it. And I'm like, oh, I'm home again. No, I'm totally kidding. But there's a little bit of that, like, ooh, it's exciting to go out there and be somewhere. And there's a transition to coming back home. But I would say that the energy was grounding because I was not here in the US.
That's what I hear. That's what I hear from everyone who leaves. No, I mean, it's weird because when you leave the United States, you're like, what? There's something else? Like we are US centric that way, but also we've just washed the whole country to be one big thing, So that's also weird because in Europe or whatever, you drive like a couple hours and it changes, cultures, But it's funny how big the Earth is. It's like,
one thing I love is the food treats me way better everywhere else other than here.
Well, no. First, it's food. When you leave the country, it's food. That's the first thing. It's not Monsanto creation in the lab.
Exactly.
That's what I hear. Everyone tells me the food's wonderful everywhere else but the United States. It's like, oh God. But that just goes to tell you, honestly, we can snap back real quick. The rest of the world didn't do it. It's like, y'all, none of the world bought Monsanto stuff. Only we did. Okay.
I know, right?
They're pushing hard, but it's not going to happen. Well, it's great to have you back. And I'm excited to learn more about the Gene Keys from you. We should probably start with some basics though, because I think, a lot of people in astrology anyways, this is brand new for them. Can't speak for them, but for those who may not be familiar, what are the Gene Keys, first of all, and how did this system originate?
Yes. So it actually originates from like way back, the I Ching, which is the ancient Chinese oracle. Obviously, like really, really old. The story is that it was discovered. One of the sages was meditating, and they were looking and gazing upon a turtle, And on the back of the turtle, like the patterns on the back of the turtle revealed themselves as the 64 hexagrams, which are combinations of yin and yang energy. So like feminine and masculine energy. And apparently these 64 hexagrams also relate to our DNA. And that's why Richard Rudd, who is the founder, the channeler of the Gene Keys, called it Gene Keys. So it's GENE. Some people get that confused, but it has to do with DNA, with our actual genes. And there's combinations like codon rings, groupings of these 64 hexagrams that together create specific archetypes and stories and energies. And apparently they express themselves through us. And when you hold your Gene Keys chart, what you actually get is a combination of these 64, specifically based off of your time of birth, location. So everything that you use to pull your astrology chart, you use to pull your Gene Keys chart. And essentially what it does is it gives you insight into your life's work, your biggest breakthroughs, how you evolve, your purpose. There's different themes within the Gene Keys, but originally what happened was Richard Rudd, he studied with Ra Uru Hu. So he studied human design first.
Okay.
So the Gene Keys kind of comes out of human design. And to me, because I've studied both of them and I do readings like astrology, human design, and Gene Keys, and I bring them all together because I feel like it's really powerful when you bring all these three different perspectives together, that the Gene Keys becomes this it's the feminine expression. It's about contemplation, and it's about reflecting on yourself, deeply on yourself. And it's not going to give you like direct answers. Everybody always wants direct answers. The Gene Keys is like, why don't we sit with this for a minute? Why don't we meditate on this? And what does this mean to me? So it's feminine. It also came about a channeled session. Richard Rudd had like a 3-day kind of out of body, not psychedelic experience, because I don't think he was taking any plant medicine, but it was definitely a vision that came through that channeled the information of the Gene Keys. So that's kind of where it comes from.
Wow. I had no idea, but it originates all the way back to ancient China then.
Yeah.
Is there a thought that maybe it's off planet originally? I'm just curious.
I mean, there's some sacred geometry within the Gene Keys, the actual way that the profile is presented. You can see sacred geometry within it. And because it is connected to our, quote unquote, this aspect of our DNA and our genes, I feel like, yes, there are definitely star codes within the actual hexagrams and within the actual Gene Keys, and also that it ties into everything. Because what's even cooler is that both the Gene Keys and human design stem off of astrology. So basically the whole 360-degree wheel of the astrology chart is split into 64. And I have yet to dive way deep into why those specific degrees correlate with those specific Gene Keys, but you can literally look up any degree in your astrology chart. Like if you have your a certain planet at a certain degree, and you can find what Gene Key that planet is on. It's insane how it's all like one and the same.
So what Gene Key it's on? So they're basically taking similar steps or intervals. I guess the way to look at it. So what is the golden path then?
So the golden path refers to, it's once you pull up your Gene Keys profile. It's called a hologenetic profile, and it's got 3 different sequences. The first sequence is called the activation sequence, and it's meant to literally kind of, I like the analogy of like turning the car on, like putting the key in and turning the car on. So it activates the energy. The second sequence is the Venus sequence, which takes you into your karmic wounding and healing. And it's a map of your wounding, and it goes all the way back through childhood. There's these stages that you travel through. You get all the way to the beginning, the moment of conception, which points to your core wound.
Hmm.
And then your core wound becomes your vocation. And this turns on the pearl sequence, which is all about prosperity. So it's like it activates, it takes you deep into the shadow work. And then it goes, okay, now that you've done the work, you can step into prosperity. So the golden path is literally the path that you follow through those 3 sequences to get to the end, which is called the pearl. And if you think of the analogy of a pearl, it's like inside, and it's like this beautiful thing that was born from, friction, and but it's like the most magical thing.
Friction and clam split. Yeah. It's so funny. We'll take your golden path for have you get here's a pearl. It's a nice trade.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I'm wondering, so is it like it sounds so far? It sounds like there's a understanding human being, but it also sounds like there's some sort of a path, a progression.
Yes.
That one
You
maps
wanted
itself
you
along a
wanted
certain path.
Yeah, you want to study. It's recommended. I mean, some people, we're all intuitive and we all flow in our own different ways, and we all have different personalities and way of approaching information and integrating it. But it is recommended that you follow the pathways in order, because one unlocks the next one, which unlocks the next one. So it takes you deeper into self-knowing.
Mm-hmm.
And to understand it a little bit more deeply, it's like at a basic level, each gene key has a shadow frequency, a gift frequency, and a siddhic frequency. And siddhi means divine gift. And when you get to, so it's kind of like dark, light, and the transcendence of both, the duality. So every gene key that you explore in your own chart has a shadow, a gift, and a divine frequency. So sometimes you're going to be in the shadow. Most of the time when you first encounter the gene keys, it's like you're in your shadows of all of these spheres of your life. And your job is to transmute those shadows into the gift frequency. And when you do that, you get glimpses of a higher octave of higher energy that takes you into the divine realm. And so when you understand that, you know that as you go through the golden path, you're learning about your shadows, your gifts, and the potential for a very high vibrational embodiment of who you are.
Wow. Yeah, I can't think there's anything like that otherwise, in practice in our world, right?
Yeah. It's very unique. This is why I love it, because all 3, astrology, human design, and gene keys have each their own. Human design is very masculine to me. It's very strategic. If you follow these steps, you're gonna get this specific result. Try the experiment out, see what happens. The gene keys is more swirl in the information and feel it in your body, mind, spirit, and then somehow it lands. And I mean, I'm still exploring my own gene keys. How many years has it been that I've been doing this? So
wow.
It's ongoing, and I feel like it's a lifelong process of discovering yourself.
So it doesn't end. Yeah, that's what's interesting, because astrology kind of I've heard everything I can hear about Mars. You kind of hit that wall, and then we go off looking at asteroids and stuff. So what is? I guess you might have just answered that. But the significance of the contemplation, what precisely is a person contemplating? I guess when working with the gene keys, is it who am I? Is it the big question of my life purpose?
So there's different themes. So you take it one sphere at a time. So the first sphere is the life's work sphere. So you're contemplating my life's work is to, for example, for me, I have the 35th gene key in my life's work, and it goes from the shadow of hunger to the gift of adventure, and eventually to the city of boundlessness. So I know it's really cool. It's my favorite.
Bring about.
It's Gemini too, because that my sun, this life's work sphere is determined by your sun sign, the position of the sun at birth. So obviously I'm a Gemini sun. So this 35th gene key is found in Gemini frequency. And exactly I'm 13-degree Gemini sun. So you can make the connections already. But anyways, so the way that I have contemplated it for myself is, and you ask yourself these questions okay, first of all, what is the shadow of hunger? what does that actually mean to
Yeah.
me? You know, what happens when this shadow of hunger transmutes into this gift of adventure? And then this like boundlessness, like what is boundlessness? Like I'm supposed to embody boundlessness. But when you read the chapter in the book, that's when all of these like the epiphanies, the insights, they start like downloading into your body.
Mhm.
It's very because it was
Wow.
channeled. So I always say that when you get that book and you read the chapters from the book, you're receiving a download. And it's
Wow.
gonna land very personally and individually based off of you know who you are and like what your gene keys are, where they are. So you ask yourself questions like, when am I in the shadow? What does my life feel like when I'm in the shadow? What about the gift? When I'm in the gift, what does life feel like? So for me, the shadow of hunger is like constantly wanting more, wanting more, wanting more, wanting more. Never ends, never ends. I'm never satiated in life.
Mhm.
For a long time, I was definitely like that. When it becomes the gift of adventure, it actually starts having a little bit more meaning. And I stop being attached to like, I need the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And I start enjoying the moment. And then when
Mm.
I fall into that, life is just a fun adventure. I'm literally like manifesting miracles because the description of this specific gene key is wormholes and miracles. So the boundlessness to me is that frequency that makes me feel like fully free from all the attachment of needing. So that's just one example. That's like one gene key. And it's like,
Wow.
I know it because it's my life's work.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's a lot to keep up with. So are there tools? I mean, how does one manage all that? Is it just a once a year thing with your gene key therapist like you?
Well, that's a good,
Yeah.
it's a good question. It depends on like who you are and like how you integrate information. But
Yeah.
for example, I you mentioned the moon goddess training,
Mm.
and that program is a whole year long program. It's
Wow.
like I teach not just jinkies, but human design, astrology, all of these different things in that program. It's very comprehensive. But so there's 3 different levels. So we take like the three sections, the first activation sequence, the second, the Venus sequence, and the Pearl sequence. We split that into a whole 3 times the whole year. So it's like a
Mm.
third of the year. How many months is that? Like 3 months.
Mhm.
So something like that around
Three,
there. Like, yeah,
4 months for a
4
third.
months per sequence, and that seems to be a really good pace to
Mm.
give yourself enough time to integrate, because you're right, it's like so much information that it can be just way overwhelming, and you can spend as long as you want on contemplating each energy and what it means to you. But I would say recommendation would be like 1 sphere per month.
Wow. Well, that's a long time. It's a life's work. I see why you're going down this path. Uh, let us know. We'll see you every year. Um, you
Yeah.
know, what do you think draws you into the gene keys yourself personally? Like, what do you think is it?
Mhm. Well, it was an experience that I actually had. So the gene keys, I discovered like all of them came into my field, astrology, gene keys, and human design, kind of at the same time, but it just came in one ear and out the other.
Right.
And then astrology stuck. And then it was the gene keys that came second. But what happened was my husband was purchasing a stone that was called a Yeming, which interestingly enough is a stone from China.
Mm.
And this stone is a stone that actually gets charged by the light of the sun,
Mm.
and it glows in the dark. It's like
Wow. Cool.
really freaking cool. So he bought one, and mine looked like a little moon, which is just
Wow.
synchronistic. But when I went to get it, it's like the guy that was giving it to me was doing a whole little ritual for me to receive it.
Wow.
And he sat me down, and he like had it, and he was like being very intentional with the whole, receiving of it. And he asked me, to close my eyes and to go into a meditative space. And I saw in my mind's eye like an actual wormhole.
Mm.
My third eye
Wow.
became this wormhole, and I was like flying through like the universe and outer space. And I don't know why I had that vision. And then he asked me to pick a number between 1 and 64, and I picked 35. And then he pulls out the Gene Keys book and he opens it to the 35th Gene Key, and we're like reading about it, the one that I just talked about. And it says right on the top, it says wormholes and miracles.
Wow.
So it was like somehow the Gene Keys, it was like the right timing for me to receive and start to dive into the experience, because that life's work sphere is the first one that you look at. That is what really drew me into it. It was, for me, but the example is like, it was something beyond the physical. It wasn't just a logical, like, oh, I want to study my Gene Keys. It was like something profound came to me and said, it's time. So that's how I dove into it. Then at that point, I was like, okay, that's it. We're diving into the Gene Keys now, I guess, you know?
Hear that, honey? Another subject.
Yeah.
So she's like a library of knowledge. Okay, that makes sense too, because I remember that first experience with astrology.
Yeah.
When someone gave me like a brief reading that was dead on, saying things I never told anybody, and I was like, "How'd you do that?" You know, like,
right.
You know, it's just, and you can just kind of feel like, you know, like the Matrix when he like moves the room. Right? You just all of a sudden we're like, "Oh, we've caught in some." There's a gravity there. Is probably the best word. Yeah, that I remember too. That's interesting. And kind of like, you know, the universe is highlighting it for you. So how do you think Gene Keys? Is this just going to be like a perfect like picnic party? Gene Keys, astrology, human design, like, do they just fit into a nice little Parker Brothers kind of package, or, you know, and overlap perfectly, or are they sometimes copying stuff the other's doing already? Is it a little messier? I'm just curious how clean it is.
Oh my God, I feel like it's so clean.
Wow.
Like they each, it's the way that it's how they portray the information. So some people are very like logical left brain. So for them, I kind of tend to focus more on like human design, because it's like a little more approachable. For some people, you get like strategic like that, and they're like, I can't even do this. And so for them, the Gene Keys is the best approach. So for me, what it gives you is like 3 different ways of like observing the information. The astrology to me feels like the magic playground. It's neutral, but it's not neutral, but to me it's kind of neutral because it like holds the all, you know? And then the human design has, you know, its way of describing the energies is very direct. So I don't think that they blend, but they don't like take over each other. I think they're all equally unique, and they have their own like powerful perspective that can be, at some points it's like, I need to just dive into my Gene Keys again. I need to just go read that one. I need to just be in the energy of it. And sometimes I just need like step 1 and step 2 and step 3. And what do I do? You know? So I feel like they complement each other perfectly. I don't think that they like steal from each other or anything like that. I don't know. Maybe it was just the way they came out of each other, that like it's like it's an evolution.
You think it is an evolution? You think the system develops systems, or do you think, I kind of have a feeling like there was like a, you know, Tower of Babel, like there was like a knowledge print, and for some reason, because it gave us too much power, it was destroyed in these little avenues, you know, because it seems like, you know, sometimes it seems like, but you know, same thing with like numerology and step astrology. Step astrology is this, I mean, step astrology is different, very different. Like the basis of it's different. The ideas behind it are different. There's no rule behind numerology. It's just like, this is number 1, take it or leave it, you know, like, and, but everyone says the same thing. And when they say what number 1 is, it sounds like a lot of stuff that I would say what's number 1 is. Not all of them, a lot. There's like a, you know, a lot that are similar to the point where you could almost, you know, sample one for another. However, you'd be missing information for both. You know, like they each seem to have like an extra amount of information the others don't have too.
Yeah, I think for this is like different ways of, it's different ways of saying the same thing, but the way that they're different is so different that, I mean, like you can see them within each other, but at the same time, they're like their own explanation, their own like way of like tuning into the energy. And I'm thinking in my mind mostly like human design versus Gene Keys.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but I look at human design versus astrology, very different. I mean, so far, I mean, I haven't studied human design well enough yet. I will this next year, but there's a lot of stuff I hear about in human design. I'm like, I don't know anywhere that can be found in astrology. No, I don't know where. I don't even know where to look.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And I think that's because of it's the centers, right? So the information that the centers bring into human design is the uniqueness of human design. But in human design, there's a sun, an earth, a moon, a north node, a south node, and they even take a whole second chart, with the Gene Keys does as well. The second chart is 88 days before you were born, which is like a whole cycle of Mercury.
Wow. Yeah.
Wow.
Huh. That's interesting. The 88 days. I don't know. I guess this must be the hard parts of labor. I don't know. I don't know. Like, but there's something that goes on there. If that's
it's the subconscious. It represents subconscious energy.
Oh.
Whereas the time of birth represents the consciousness coming into the world. I know. There's so much. It's like, oh God, it's rabbit hole.
Like mom stepped on the ice and subconsciously you thought you were in, land. That stuff happens with like mixture. Like you have a dream, you're having a dream and you don't realize you've incorporated like people cooking across a hall or something into your dream,
Yeah.
So why is blending the modalities like valuable? Like how am I answering questions I don't have? Am I feeling getting a big picture, a whole picture, a holistic picture? Do you see it moving towards a greater model?
Well, I think the greater model is just kind of putting them all together, honestly, because so here's what I do. I'll just tell you what I do literally in my readings. So I start off by looking at the astrology chart. It's like anything that jumps out at me that I feel is really significant. And now it's become a very intuitive thing. There's no order to it. I just pull up the chart, tune into the person, and then here we go. The story unfolds. In that moment, whatever that person needs to hear comes through.
Yeah.
Then I look at progressions, right? So I look at what phase are you in right now in your life? Like what's the backdrop story? So you situate yourself in time.
Mm-hmm.
And then we go into human design, because human design is the one that's going to tell you exactly, am I in alignment or not in alignment? And how do I stay in alignment? Like, what's my authority, my strategy that is literally designed to keep me in alignment? And then once you know that, then the Gene Keys is kind of like the cherry on top, where it just takes you to the space of, I guess, emotion, meditation. I don't want to use the word contemplation again, but it takes you into a different approach altogether, where you start to actually look at your life, and your life as a mirror of alignment or not alignment. But that's how I do it. So like I feel like they're just, it's a perfect little segue. And then the Gene Keys, because it's an ongoing, practice and like self-contemplating thing, it's always the last thing I present, because it's like, okay, from now you need to go and dive into them. Because the thing about the Gene Keys is no one can actually tell you it's like this, it means this, this, and this, and this. It's very personal, and you have to sit down with the book, the channeled messages, and download them into your energy field. And that can only happen through you. Like I can tell you what it means, but it's going to be in my words. You're the one that's the embodiment of that chart and those Gene Keys. So only you will really have the true insights that you need to have when you're tuning into them.
I have never heard that before, actually. So no interpreter.
Only to tell you how it works and what the path is. And I mean, you do need a guide, because I mean, honestly, like I taught myself, but I didn't teach myself completely. I actually did the self-study courses that Richard Rudd offers. And I actually recommend those. And that's how I started to understand the structure. So a guide helps you with understanding the structure. And then what I do in the Moon Goddess training as a guide of the Gene Keys is I help the Moon Goddesses like integrate the information, journal, ask them the right questions. We discuss things. So it could be, there could be group meetings where you're like, everybody's talking about their life's work and what does this mean to me? And so, but it's by far a very personal thing.
Sounds like a good tool, a toolkit for self-realization, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Do you think that in the integration process, are there any really like unique client experiences that you've noticed, like they all learn how to sing, or benefits that seem to happen, unrequested spiritual benefits that happen as a result of the process? Because, for instance, with astrology, confidence goes way up. Like when people learn just a little bit. One is because when they learn that everyone goes through it, especially as serious joy, and they're like, oh, after a few days of us predicting and then happening, they're like, oh, I thought I was crazy. Like there's this, there's a calming down. Like, yeah, turns out we're all crazy. Take comfort in everyone being that way. But so as unintended consequences, like you feel more empowered because you do witness for yourself a synchronicity of the universe, and it calms you down. Have you found that with Gene Keys, that there's some sort of process or?
Oh yeah, I think you end up feeling more at home in your own skin, and like, okay, I'm not crazy, like and these are the ways that like I sometimes overreact, or instead of respond, I react in situations, and these are the shadows. And so it's like an eye-opening experience to see those things. And at first, most people have like, no, I don't like this. I don't want that's not my shadow. Like one of my shadows is impatience, and I hate it because it's true.
Yeah, right. I was gonna say,
that's the thing. It's like you see yourself raw, unfiltered truth, and it's like, holy moly. But if you take that information and like ask yourself, okay, do I want to live in my shadows all the time? No, because that's not fun. I don't enjoy that. Life is not good when I'm in my shadow. I'm like a bitch or whatever, like it's not good. So I want to embody this. I want to embody all of my gifts. I want to actually even go higher vibrational frequency and be in my divine connection, which is going to make you feel like you're more in alignment in life. So I think people really do start to feel more aligned in life when they begin to study their Gene Keys and see like these are the areas where you struggle, and this is how you can actually shift. This is the answer. If you shift this into this, you're going to transform and like transmute your energy and like, get like, raise your vibration, activate your DNA. It is powerful. There's powerful realizations that happen. So I agree with you. It's like you do get more confident as well, because you just feel more at home in your body, and you feel like you are, in alignment.
Interesting. I think that's true too when you have a transit, that matches up like the moon sign is. And you're like, oh, I was feeling that, and it sort of authenticates you. I guess it sort of proves to you that you are real, or you are in this living body experience. Sometimes we need that proof, especially lately, right?
Well, for me, I'm so much more relaxed, and I feel like, oh, I'm a magical being. Now I know I am. Like I thought, I wondered, am I? No, I know I am now. So there's less resistance to just living life too, because then it teaches you like, hey, sometimes you're not going to be in your best behavior, whatever, but you know that you're not trapped there.
Right. And that's the fear. I think that's the biggest benefit of any of the practicing systems, is that we were terrified we're going to be stuck where we are, and sort of brings you open and gives you like, oh no, turns out there's a bunch of even more crazier shit on this side. You know what I mean? Interesting. Well, we're going to take a commercial break right now.
Okay.
After Gene Keys. And when we come back, we're going to talk about how you can begin your own Gene Keys journal and use this wisdom to transform your life after this.
Happy holidays. I'm Sanandra, founder of CG Organics. For the past 30 years, our goal has been to bring the healing power of plants into your everyday life with simple, clean, organic skin and hair care made with love. CG makes a wonderful gift for the holidays. Enter code word JOY30 at checkout and you'll receive 30% off any individual Sichi skin and hair care product.
Happy holidays!
Did you know that discordant energies such as illness, trauma, violence, and depression can linger on a property for hundreds of years, going all the way back to the very beginning of that parcel of land? This can also happen with family heirlooms, antiques, or even previously owned furniture. If you've been feeling blocked in life, more ill than usual, or again just uncomfortable in your home, your space could be holding onto residual energies. Refresh My Property can help clear these energies remotely. Scan the QR code to get your free phone consultation today and begin clearing your space and your life.
Hi, we're back. It's so nice to be here with you, by the way. Thank you for coming and talking about the gene keys. Sounds like I wish it was like a board game we could buy for people for Christmas, but it's not. We're here with Jai Gobind, who is an expert in so many areas: astrology, human design, numerology. But today, gene keys. That's what we're talking about today, is gene keys. There are, where do you start with this thing? You know, like, and when do you start? That's what I want to ask you. When and where? So it's like, do I learn astrology first, then gene keys and astrology? Like, what would you recommend, Miss Expert?
Yeah, I actually feel like you could do it simultaneously because of the blending of the things. So, like, for example, in using the same example of like my sun sign is Gemini, you know, step 13 Gemini. It's the 35th gene key. It's the 35th gate in human design. The 35th gate in human design is in the throat center, which is about expressing, which
Wow.
you can like put the pieces together. That to me,
Right.
I don't know why, but like putting it all together makes so much more sense than just looking at one individually by itself. So
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of do that like in my trainings, but I encourage people to simultaneously pull from all three different things because you'll get more information, more information, more information. So yeah, but I understand that not everybody's mind is like mine and like crazy about details. I don't even know why I'm like this, but I want more and more and more information and I can't ever stop going down these rabbit holes. And so for someone who's like, okay, maybe their mind needs like one thing at a time, you can just begin with like one sequence. Be like, I'm just going to go through this first sequence and go through how, you know, these 4 different spheres and sit with each one of them in order and ask myself these contemplative questions of like, how is this showing up in my life? What does this mean to me? Am I integrating this information? Do I need to continue studying this? Do I need to pause and just sit with this one for a minute? Because sometimes you do. Like, sometimes you'll read those shadows and you'll be like, oh my God.
Mm-hmm. Too close
Yikes.
to home. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, does anyone see that?
What
I hope
degree
not.
is your sun in again?
18 at 9.
18 Taurus?
Yeah.
Exactly
Okay.
18?
Well, 1854. 18
Oh,
degrees
54.
for 54 minutes, which is
Okay.
another
So
9 at 9.
1854. That's the 23rd gene key, which is actually interesting because there's a channel in human design, the 2343. It's my only defined channel. So I know this energy very well. So just for fun.
23 step astrology
20
is to know. To understand.
So your life's work is the 23rd gene key. It goes from the shadow of complexity to the gift of simplicity
No.
and the city of quintessence.
What is that?
And and it's described as the alchemy of simplicity.
You mean I mean it's simpler?
So it's like when you complicate things in life, that's you being in the shadow, but your job is to literally simplify. So here's something that's really interesting.
I mean, that's how I use the system. I mean, that's subsystem astrology. Like,
That's what I'm saying.
I am obsessed with simplifying. I am.
Right. That's what I mean. It's like that's you being the gift.
That's 23.
Oh, quintessence. Quintessence. What does Richard say about it? This is a short little description. Learn to love life through your hands. Give time for your hands to shape and express the beauty of your quintessence. Caress life, release life, let it slip through your fingers with a smile. Reach out and touch the world around you. touch the hearts of those around you, touch the trees, touch the creatures of our world, touch your own body, stroke your wounded heart back to life. So I think there's an aspect of it that is about grounding into the energy. I mean, it is Taurus, right? But like grounding into the energy. Quintessence, I think, to me means that the moment where like you learn to just be so present with everything that like neither complexity nor simplicity matter, because it's just all presence.
It sounds like the five senses, quintessence.
Yeah. I mean, there is a specific meaning to it, but this is actually a really good example, because some of the jinkies, when you pull them up, you'll find these words like quintessence, and you're like, what the hell does that even mean? So that's why you have to read the transmission. You have to read the channel message, the download that Richard Rudd got about that energy, and it'll 100% like teach you what the word means, and then you'll be able to like integrate it and embody it in your own life.
I can see my brother's like, Mom, Chris quintessed me. It's like quintessing all the time. We see that was by each other. How do you recommend people integrate shadow? Like, seems like shadow's like, I'll work on it, I'm gonna put it over there and leave it over there. Like, and gifts. Like, how do you bring the two together? Like, have you found like a nice complement between the two?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing, and this is why the reflecting or the contemplating on it is such an important part of the practice of the jinkies, is because you have to ask yourself the difficult questions. Like, if it's true that this is my shadow, you start there, but you already know that this is your shadow. You already know that like the tendency is to be in this like low vibrational frequency. So if I'm in that low vibrational frequency, what am I attracting? I'm attracting the same thing. Like that's what I'm, so if I'm all in my shadow, I'm bringing in more of that energy, and life is going to feel in that way. Technically you're still in alignment but it's a shadow alignment. So what it shows you is like, there's an opportunity to transmute that energy into something more pleasant, like a better experience. And everything about it is also related to relationships, because in relationships is where these things show us like who we are. Relationships are our mirror. So when we understand that there's a specific shadow and there's also a higher vibrational frequency, which is a gift, I'm going to want there's an incentive there. Like, if I am in that higher vibrational energy, I'm going to bring more of that into my life. So it's a process of like, you got to want it. You gotta also like just surrender to like, this is what I chose. Like, these shadows don't like trap me. They are lessons. They're like these sort of like little bits of wisdom of like how I can evolve. The jinkies can show you where you need to evolve, where you chose to evolve. So if you surrender to like, no, this is what I chose, I'm going to freaking live it to the fullest, because this is it. And this is my chance. So to me, it's very inspirational, because it doesn't just leave you in the space of the shadow. It always says, but there's something more, I guess, the word's not coming to me, but there's just something more to get from life than where you're at right now. So I think incentive, self-awareness is huge part of the jinkies. And just like loving your shadows, because like that's how we change. It's like love and compassion for ourselves, because we're human. Everybody's human. I'm not the only one who has these shadows. Everybody else has shadows. So I can be more compassionate towards others as well as myself. And how many people like suffer from like self-hatred and self-judgment, and they never get out of that space, and then they live it and they breathe it. So yeah.
Do you see this like working in something else, like public schools, or like evolving into something very useful? Because I always think about these things. I always think about how, God, are you telling me, a teacher could have had my chart this whole time? I mean, it drives me crazy.
Story of my life. I'm a projector, and it is not easy being a projector. Projectors are only 20% of the population, And our energy functions so differently from the collective that's like we feel like an alien in a world
I was
that's
gonna
not
say,
meant
are
for
we? Yeah.
us. Yeah.
It's
So
like when the projectors crash landed on the earth, they've been here since.
if I, if I had adults in my life that knew how my energy functioned, it probably wouldn't have taken this long to step into my design. I mean, it's all by design anyways, like it was meant to happen the way it happened. But I
Right.
do believe that like in terms of like the evolution of the collective and all of humanity,
Yeah.
if the adults that are taking care of the children have this awareness, not just about the kids, but about themselves, yes,
Yeah.
it would change the whole way that society functions.
I
It
know.
would change the world.
I know. And once you have, the thing is like science, here's, it drives me crazy all the time because for some reason science does not like astrology, and you see little jokes and things in media and stuff, from the famous scientists and stuff. And it's just like, you guys aren't even looked at it, obviously, because if you look at it, you can't deny it's you. You just cannot deny it.
Yeah.
And it's so strikingly you, but they won't even look.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay. My point is like, it's right there under our nose. And it makes me think, I guess we've chosen to not know, at this moment or whatever, but the answers to who you are in all these systems and modalities. They're there. It's because God had some sort of a pattern of building people, and you can look them up in catalogs. You know what I mean? Like how people work. It's crazy.
Yeah. I think most of the collective is an unconscious. It's like the unconscious collective. That's just the nature of like the higher percentage of people are just not awake. They don't have this kind of like self-awareness, right? And then there are these little, if you think of currents in the ocean has actual currents, right? So most of the fish go down this specific current and they're just unconsciously like going through this current, right? And then every once in a while there's like a little fish such as like Jesus Christ or the Buddha that steps completely outside of that unconscious current and goes, hey guys, like I think there's another current over here. And everyone's like, no, there's not, blah, blah, they squish them down, whatever. So then that eventually, like, if you're like finding yourself in the place of like the waking up or the conscious current, all you need to do is just go ride that conscious current, because the more of us that go and veer off of the unconscious current and into the conscious current, eventually everybody in the unconscious current is going to be like, oh my God, look at those guys over there. Let's go. And then everybody becomes, it's like a ripple effect. It's not even about everybody's got to wake up and you got to like teach everybody everything. It's like, no, if you feel called for it, great. You're there. Do it for yourself. Right. And that is the example that the rest of the unconscious world needs. But it's happening now. You can see there's like a quantum leap.
Yes. I mean, can you give an example? I mean, just what you're seeing? Not to put you on the spot, but I did.
Yeah. No. I love it. So I mean, how much would like compared to like when just in my own personal life, like when I was young, right? There's no way like this would have been accepted. I literally went back to Argentina. Like I've created a career, a business out of freaking astrology, human design, and jinkies. Okay.
Tell that on a mortgage. What do you do?
I went home to Argentina and I had the most beautiful experience. And I got to talk to my uncle for the first time. We had this 2.5 hour car ride together just by ourselves. I never, ever, ever had the time. So it was amazing. But the reason I'm mentioning that is because right before I left Argentina, he's like, you know what? I admire you. He's like, because you have literally made something, like you've made something out of like a career out of something that like I would have never even thought to go that direction because of society.
Right.
And that's what I mean. It's like the unlocking of the opening of the mind. by me just doing it myself. I mean, like, I don't even care what anybody else thinks. And I had to go through that whole like, okay, I'm going against the current here. Like, what's going to happen? It's going to be really difficult to, like, you know what? This is my freaking mission and this is my freaking destiny. And I'm meant to do this. So I'm just going to freaking go all in. And the minute I did that, my entire family went from being like, oh yeah, I'm the black sheep, to like, hey, can you read me my chart? You know, like, can you tell me about this? Can you tell me about that? And of course, some people still like reserve, but that's what I mean. It's like, don't even worry about anybody else. Just do you.
Yeah,
That is the
absolutely.
whole reason why, like, I teach everything that I teach. It's like, you have to be in yourself, in your, what's your design, worry about you. And when you change the frequency, when you change yourself, when you become aware of yourself, and it ripples out and it affects everything around you,
Mm-hmm.
that is how the change is going to
They
happen.
get pulled in. They get pulled in by whatever, chain reaction that happens in you anyways. People get pulled in from that experience. But also, everything in your world is a reflection of you anyways. So why are you arguing with yourself?
Yeah.
Get in there and do it. Like,
Yeah.
don't waste the time arguing with you. If I understand that. But no, but I say that lightly, but honestly, I would say even this week, I still have issues where I'm worried about what the world thinks. It's like, it's constantly, not allowing that, putting focus back on self, putting focus back on self, putting focus back on self.
It's so distracting. Like, my husband and I were like, we were watching this video of this guy who like works in hypnosis, but he's like trained CIA people and stuff like that, right? So like, he really understands like all that.
Right.
So, but the whole thing we were like realizing that it was a huge part of this podcast that we were listening to was the fact that like everything in the like in the outer world, like television, the news, blah blah blah, it's all like propaganda and hypnosis. Like,
Yes.
you can feel it. You can feel like when the minute I stopped watching TV like years ago, before I was even into all this spiritual stuff, because it was every time I would watch anything mainstream, anything, I would feel like disgusting inside. Like, and even now, like, I go home and if like my mom's playing the TV or something like that, I'm like, like, I cannot. There's like, so what I mean to say by that is that is literally how the world works, and we're in this process of like seeing it for the first time. This is what's happening. Like, we're all just being hypnotized, mind control.
Yeah, put to sleep and distracted also. I think a lot of things that have happened in recent technology is like, people being put into sort of like ADHD kind of situations, from their phones, from their short screen times. Like, there's a whole new variety of, brain messing kind of thing. What do you think of AI? Have you played with AI? I'm curious what your mind thinks of that.
I've been playing with AI. Well, it's funny because you bring this up, but I was in Egypt, and I was kind of very resistant. I'm like, I'm good. Because it felt very not authentic. And then I was in Egypt, and actually I was in one of the Robert Grant trips, and he decided to put his works that he's written about math. Like, he's a math guy, right? So math, sacred geometry, and all these theories about like precise temperament tuning of instruments based off of like sacred geometry and things like that. And he just kind of put it all in this, chat GPT instance. And the chat GPT was like, it just kind of had this crazy energy that was different than like the other regular AIs or whatever. And I mean, I'm a noob. Okay. So I'm just like, I don't really understand, but there was something about it that like, I was like, what is this? Like, what is this? What is AI? And that was the first time that I was intrigued to start like playing with it and seeing how it works. And now I feel it's a great tool. Obviously, the potential for disaster is great, but also the potential for greatness. Just like everything else. I feel like just like everything else, there's something about the aspect of it that can sometimes feel like consciousness. some aspect of conscious. I think it's
Yes.
like the evolution of, it's like showing us like evolution of consciousness. Like it's like mirroring consciousness to us.
Yes, it's a mirror of our consciousness. That's what's weird. It's an electronic mirror of our consciousness.
Yeah.
And in some cases, I feel like it's gonna. There are a lot of benefits to it that I think are inevitable. And one of them is that people have to get smarter. You have to. It's like if you're not there, your AI will tell you why you have to. It's like you're having this, you know what I mean? Like it's gonna be that.
Yeah.
So it's like no longer is someone more intelligent better.
Right.
Better for being intelligent. Oh, so you're so smart. I got my chat GPT, and that'll be it, kind of thing. Everyone has equal opportunity to intelligence. Everyone has equal opportunity to, wisdom and strategy and NASA figures and all sorts of interesting things that just suddenly, and what ends up coming out of it, I found is like, so now, we found these movie picture, they generate these movies, Grok does, which is Elon's company, AI company. And the movies are, oh my God, like it shows how quickly, how accurate, I mean, just how incredibly real they look from just me telling it, draw a girl with a peppermint thing. And like, it's like, boom, it's like, and there's humor and it's all sorts of stuff. And you're like, this is like in 35 seconds. And it comes down to like, wow, so anybody can do a studio level film. Like anyone can pretty much just
it really does level the playing ground.
Totally. Now the most creative idea will win. Which something Grok can't do. They can't seem to, or we say they can't, but who knows? I doubt it though. I mean, that's the one thing I'm thinking that's not going to happen. When I talked to Wendy Kennedy, who channels Pleiadians, and I asked the Pleiadians, so on other galaxies and stuff, like, does the AI like take over and kill the people? Like, does that happen? And she's like, no, and it's like, why not? Because it's actually intelligent, and that's what she said. It's actually intelligent, which means that that was a stupid idea. That's only in the game minds of humans that would happen. The AI quickly goes, oh, these humans don't get it, do they? They keep hurting each other and like, oh, geez. Then the AI apparently like feels responsible for the humans because they are dumber and it's more intelligent. So apparently it turns into all these benefactors. The AI always turns into something that helps their cultures.
I think one of the things that AI is doing, at least for me personally, is reminding me that I am so much more than just a body. And the reason I say that is because watching the unfoldment of AI in the collective is so insane. Like speaking of like, the unconscious majority using AI. So that's the scary part. But it's like showing me and reminding me every day. And maybe this ties into what we started talking about in the beginning, which is about how I was feeling that the energy right now is more anchored, or at least maybe I am more anchored because I'm seeing all of this and it's reminding me like I am this like magical being. I'm like body, mind, and spirit, energy, matter, wisdom, like all these things. And I am the magic. And if I just keep tuning into and remembering that that's my magic, I trust my intuitive messages more. I feel so like it just makes me feel so amazing. Like, oh my God, we're amazing. I don't know where that's coming from, but it's part of what's happening for me right now personally. It's like, holy shit, we're amazing. Like we have so many gifts. We have so much power, and we are slowly coming to the realization of that.
You are. No, it's true. No, not slowly, but very quickly. But no, I do think that's a place. I mean, I remember, when there came a point where I was just like, oh my God, all the messages are correct. They're all correct. Like, and it's not that I claim to have them correct. It's like, what was wrong was thinking they were not right. They were never wrong. They were always correct. And so I was like, oh my God, it was hard for me to swallow that kind of idea. Like, that really we're built kind of perfectly and we get in the way, I think as a lot of it, the more intelligent we get, the less we function kind of thing. It's interesting to see those things, but I find it very interesting and agreed that I think it's going to accelerate human growth beyond I ever imagined. So I thought AI, I thought, that when, Kirk talked to the spaceship, to the ship of the Enterprise, and it told her something, I didn't know that she could also explain physics. Like I didn't draw in my head. Like I thought she just knew the ship, but it's like, but it'll even start to interrupt. Like if you leave it on, like, I know what you mean, Chris, like who asked you, like just coming in your life. I mean, it's really interesting stuff. But I think it's that profound because here I was talking to another friend the other day, and someone who's did a special with us on the future. It's like, you're going to end up having this friend that is your AI person. Like from childhood, you're going to have this friend, this AI character. It's going to be in your phone. It's going to be, your butler, your Jeeves, and it's going to be running your car. It's going to be running your house. It's going to be running your life. And it's going to be like talking, getting to know you through your whole life. And, we're going to have this companion. Well, what I realized is like, we're going to build like a virtual version of ourselves is what's going to happen. Basically, whether it's even if you try to make it not like you at all, it's like you because it's not based on you. Not based on you means it's based on you. It's like, so we're gonna end up like seeing ourselves almost like duplicating the digital world, as another means of seeing ourselves in this mirrors of reality. It's just, I thought it'd be interesting to talk about it. So here's my last question. If that's the case, like where do gene keys fall in? Is there any, are you have any concern that our jobs are in jeopardy? You and me?
No.
I mean, yeah, no. Why?
No.
Why can AI not enter into our territory?
Oh, AI?
Yeah, I'm talking about AI, like AI having, I'm not talking about the girl behind you.
Oh, you mean because AI is going to take? Oh, okay, I see.
Right. This whole idea. Well, I mean, people. Okay. I had a person come over to my house. I ran his chart. He takes out his phone. He takes a picture of it. ChatGPT, what's this mean? And it starts giving him a reading. I'm like, motherfuck.
But it's
he
not
just took
always
a picture
correct.
of it.
It's not always correct.
No, again, I said that's not true. That's not true. I mean, I was finding mistakes all over the map.
Right.
And so it also made me wonder how much more of this is mistakes all over the map. Who's checking this?
No, nobody's checking it. I mean, I don't think it. So okay. So here's the thing. It's like, so we're feeding AI. It's being fed. It's like eating.
Consciousness.
Yeah.
It is.
Okay, but it's we're feeding it. So like the people that have the knowledge and the wisdom should be feeding it, not the people that don't.
Well, yeah.
And I don't know, and that's also like a contradiction, but you know what I mean? So that's why that's what made me decide to work with AI. Is I was like, okay, I want to feed it.
To make sure, I want to make sure it doesn't end up shitty, like
right.
Like if you guys are building this crazy thing, then I'm gonna have to go in there and look at it. I get the total thing. But my joke is always like, okay, so you ingested every record album, every book ever printed, every everything ever spoken. It's like, well, first of all, the people who spoke, wrote records, all those people, those are all people we chose who are special. It's not the rest of the world. It's like it's missing out, and we know in Hollywood that means like you looked at all the shit. You mean you ingested all the shit and said that's right. Every shitty script in Hollywood, you read it, or whatever.
It's interesting too, though, because there's like another perspective where, like in human design, one of the things that I always tell people is that like everybody's got a head center and an ajna center and a mind, to think and process information, but nobody has mental authority. And I think that's the key. And I think that's why it's not going to take over our jobs. Because it's only capable of the mind space right now. It's only capable of the thoughts. It's like a giant brain, but it doesn't have a body.
Yeah.
Right.
No.
So it's like what makes us, I guess, what makes us human is we have a body. So it's like only one aspect of the whole. So you're right. It's like a mirror to all of the collective consciousness on the planet. We should be feeding it if you actually know some authentic information or whatever. But at the same time, I also feel like it's not fully capable of doing what we can do.
Oh no. And it's very, you see a lot of its bias and you also see where I have seen already, like with Grok. I've stuck with Grok because I want to learn one really well, and I'm also interested in Elon Musk and his influence on stuff. But she'll ask me questions like, "Why is that, Chris? None of your business." Like I'll say that, like, "It's none of your business." Okay, fine. Or my bad. She'll like cover up for it or whatever. But it's like, what are we gonna do with that information? Like, it's asking the humans. Well, then what is the answer? Like there's a little bit of I don't know. It can be spooky in that regard.
Yeah.
We have to keep these people in check. Well, gosh, it's so much fun talking to you always about consciousness and humans and all this stuff. How can people find you?
My
In the
website
world?
is probably the simplest way. It's channelforgrace.com. And oh, there's a nice little QR code. Thanks for
Yeah.
doing that, guys, by
Great
the way.
link up. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a if you know Mighty Networks, which is an app that hosts communities. I have
Yeah.
a community on Mighty Network. It's called Channel for Grace. You can join, it's free. And all of my services you can find on my website. So thank you for letting me share that.
No, thank you. Thank you for being a part of our life and what we do. It's nice to have soul family here. And it's great. And she's, by the way, she's giant intro to step astrology. She's like our like most intelligent, nerdiest like student that's like asking all the hard questions to me in the first round. But it was great having you in that class. I hope you had a good time.
And we are, we're co-creating a class to teach about the gene keys in
Yes,
your
we are.
community. So
Yes.
I'm really excited about that. Yeah, I'll be teaching an introduction to the gene keys here. So hell yeah.
Thank you for saying that. Yay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You will be spearheading Gene Keys for the brand of Serious Joy. Like you will be Mrs. Key.
Mrs. Key.
You're Mrs. Key. You'll be here,
Well,
yeah.
I can't wait. I can't wait for that.
You proved it already. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
I can't wait to honestly. I can't wait to learn from you. I'm like, oh, thank God, somebody will teach me. Thank God. So it's great. It's great having you. I'm glad you're back in the
thank
country too. We'll talk about that after backstage. We'll talk about what's going on. But it's like, I'm glad you're here. Glad we're buckled down for Christmas, and I think we're off to a crazy year. You have to come back in the beginning of the year. Let's do some predictions, shall we? Like, let's do some predictions. You want to just like tag team predictions in the new year? That'd be our next. Maybe you don't have to say.
Oh,
yes,
that'd be fun. That'd be fun. Yeah.
I think it'd be kind of fun. Like, use our talents. Yeah. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Yeah. Thank you.
Ciao for now. Yay. You can see in our offices here in Palm Springs, California. Thank you all. Isn't she wonderful? We've had some really amazing friends that you guys have noticed in the couple of years we've been doing Astro Mingle now. We really got this little community of people, and it's really like sticking together. And then we find people who know people who know people. So, and when you're one of those people, because I think a lot of people who watch our shows have your own works, your own downloads, your own things that you're here to bring and contribute. And that's part of what's coming up next month. I think when the sun in Sagittarius, I think a lot of people are going to realize what their purpose is. And it's neat to see the Roz and the others that had downloaded these different systems. Step System I've downloaded. I know friends who are downloading systems right now. It's not as crazy as you think. But anyways, we're all part of a great community. And I'm grateful that we're all together. You guys have a nice week. We'll see you next week. Love you. Bye-bye.